7. Today is day 7, and we are excited to have all of you on the call today. So you would agree with me that we started as we started, it was looking like we still have a long way to go. But you can see we are almost gradually coming to the end. Today is week 7, so you are welcome. I believe we all had a beautiful and a productive week. Okay, so just a few announcements to make. So if you're on this call and you are yet to make your registration fee, please do well to pay up. The reason is this: if you do not pay up your registration fee, you might be attending the class and be doing your assessment, but we are not recording them. And at the end of the day, you might not graduate. So please do well to pay your registration fee. Secondly, if you have made your payment and then you didn't send in your proof of payment, we might still not be able to know that. So please, as you make your payment, do well to send your evidence of payment. It's either you send it to the WhatsApp line or you send it to our email. Lastly, if you've been doing your assessment or if you have not been doing your assessment, please do your assessment. Assessment is a yardstick for you to graduate. If you have not been doing it, I will still reiterate, please do your assessment because you cannot graduate without these assessments. So please, if you still have pending assessment to do, go ahead and do them. All right? Thank you so much. Do enjoy the rest of the class. I'm going to be sharing my screen now to introduce our first trainer, who will be taking us on personal branding, that is dressing and appearance. Please give me a moment to share my screen. All right, please, let me just answer to Sojirin. Yes, it is still the same fee you paid when you started. That's the 5,000 naira. All right. So if you have paid, this information is not for you. Discard it. It's only for those who have not yet paid. Thank you. All right, let me share my screen. All right, so today, our first trainer for today's, the first session of today's class is none other than Mobola Theresa Ojo. Mrs. Mobola has 18 years of experience in customer service management, implementation, auditing, strategic planning, service delivery, and project execution in a multidiscipline and multicultural environment. She has vast experience in various fast-paced, high-pressure business environments. These include telecommunications, manufacturing, banking, and collocation data center. She is detail-oriented. She is an auditor with well-established knowledge of control process validation, trained in certification, re-certification, and surveillance audits, with an understanding of information security management systems, IT service management, quality management, and business continuity. She is known for great attention to detail, exemplary auditing skills, and commitment to excellence. Please, with a clapping ovation in the chat room, please can we welcome Mobola Theresa Ojo. Please, ma'am, you can take it up from here.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Mercy, please let me know if you can hear me.
Loud and clear, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for that very interesting introduction. That was very, very glowing. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome. I would just share my screen. Just give me a minute, please. Okay, I think I'll just first of all do um okay, I wanted to just do a quick video so at least you can see. Okay, so hello everybody. This is Mobala Theresa Ojo. I'll turn off the video now and turn it on again at the end of the class just so that we're not distracted and we can focus on the session ahead. So just wanted you to put a face to the person who will be speaking with you. All right, so I'll turn it off now. Right. Mercy, please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, we can see your screen.
Okay, so once again, good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for, well, I was here last year and I'm here again. I believe that means I did a good job. My assignment is really very easy. I'm only here to remind you of what you already know and maybe to reiterate the importance of personal branding. Now, there's one thing that we all need to realize that in life, there are certain things that we can't do anything about. We can't do anything about maybe our culture, we can't do anything about the family we're born into, the countries we're born into, whether we're born male or female. You can't do anything about all that because they're predestined. But there are few things that you can actually do something about, and one of them is personal branding. And that is what I'll be taking you through today. It's actually, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the most interesting classes that you actually have to go through. So we'll be talking about grooming and appearance, and it's about the theme of our professional personality. Right, grooming and appearance. We need to first of all have it at the back of our mind that grooming, it has an impact not just on us, it has an impact on our colleagues, it has an impact on our customers. Um, Being intentional about little basic things, it goes a long way, and that we would all get to see in the course of this very interesting class. The clothes that you wear, they convey a lot of messages. It says a lot about you as a person. It says that you are confident, you are presentable, you are ambitious, and often you're sincere. It can be very funny, but sadly that is how humans are. If somebody sees you for the first time, they assess you based on how you look, how clean you are. For some, even in a few seconds, they can probably even just check your nails, see if you actually are neat, look at, take a look at your shoes, and they take in all that in just a few seconds. And we all know this saying that you only get one opportunity to make a first impression. So we are trying to ensure that all your impressions are actually your best foot forward. So we're talking about grooming your appearance. And just like Barbara Walters said, there are a few times in your life when it isn't too contradictable to say that your destiny hangs in your appearance and the impression that you make. So I'll put that into perspective. Say, for example, you're going for an interview. You being successful at that interview session clearly would make a huge difference because you need that new job. That's why you're applying for that. That assessment that will be done at that interview session is not just about your intellectual capability, it's not just about how you speak, it's not just about what you bring to the table or what you would add to the team. The person would also be assessing you on your appearance. Do you look presentable? Do you look like somebody that they would like to work with? Do you look like you will be representing the organization very well? So, really, everything around that session also relies heavily on how you look, not just about you being very brilliant or you being very articulate. And that's what this phrase is talking about. Now, let's say, so what is grooming? Grooming is the process of making yourself look neat and look attractive. Remember when I said that there are few things that we cannot do anything about? But one of the things that we can actually do something about is about how we look. Is about we taking time to groom ourselves, and it involves the things that you do by yourself to make you look and appear tidy and pleasant to the person either meeting you for the first time, or the person you're going to even maybe introduce a product to or introduce yourself to. It could even be a casual meet. It doesn't even have to be work. It could even be you just engaging new friends, you're meeting new people, you're, you just have to make it an intentional effort to put your best foot forward and make sure that you're looking your best at every point in time. Grooming clearly also means dressing well and you're presentable to people who would be meeting with you. So, what exactly is the big deal about grooming? Grooming and dress code, they really do not make a man, but when he is made, they greatly improve his appearance. Like I said, as humans, naturally, if you walk into a place and you actually look very neat, you look very tidy, you look put together, you would stand out in a crowd, especially if the others don't look as neat and tidy as you. So it's very good to ensure that at the back of your mind, you are intentional about how you look at every point in time. Now we're told to read carefully and think. People learn best about you not by being told, but by experiencing your appearance and actions. And that's why I said, given the example of you going for an interview, if you're going into an interview, of course, we expect you to be brilliant. We expect you to be articulate, and you're going in there to actually show the team or the person that you are suitable for that job. But at the same time, your appearance says a lot about you as a person. And that is why we call this personal branding. So, grooming enhances your appearance and your professionalism. Whether this is real or imaginary, the most important fact is that your appearance really greatly says a lot about you to anybody meeting you and to those around you at every point in time. It is very important for your self image. And the truth is this, even you know that when you know that you look good, you look neat, you have taken time to actually look your best, you have this confidence. You speak with confidence. You know that you look your best. And the truth is, even if you're not that intelligent at times, you can actually hide behind looking very good and looking very smart. And that's the truth. You can actually get away and hide around that. So it's good that you're actually brilliant. Of course, we expect you to be brilliant, but at the same time, make it a complete package by looking your absolute best at every point in time, even if it's going to work every day, not just about interviews. Even if you're meeting the same set of people every day, look your best and be known for one of those people who actually take time to look their best at every point in time, irrespective of where you're going. So some of the perceptions that people have about you, they come solely from your appearance. And like I said, it really shouldn't be so, but that is how we are as humans. Before they even hear you speak, before they know how intelligent you are, before they know that, oh, okay, this person actually is going to bring a lot to the team, um, they would first of all assess you based on your appearance. And it's a combination of a lot of things. It speaks about your professionalism, your level of sophistication, speaks about your intelligence, speaks about your reliability, and of course, like I said, if you look put together, you would actually command respect. Either you're in a team, either you walk into a meeting, either you're the one presenting. And so, really, your appearance is very, very important in everything that you do. So, it's not just, some people will say, really, is it that important? What's the big deal? It's not, no, it is really very important because it speaks a lot about who you are. Now, professional grooming aspects. We're speaking about your overall cleanliness. We're speaking about your hair. We will talk about your nails, your teeth. For the females, we'll talk about your makeup. We'll talk about accessories, dress code, and uniform where that is applicable. Now, so overall cleanliness, of course, we know we should all have a bath every day. We know that for a fact. If it is possible, you can actually shower twice in a day if you can, but it's not mandatory. But it's just a very good it's just a very good thing to do because you just, I mean, you've gone out all day, you probably have picked up dust on your skin. You like to just have, it doesn't have to be a deep bath. It could even just be a quick shower, but it's nice if you can do that twice a day. Please give proper attention to cleanliness. The clothes that you're wearing, they must be neat, they must be clean, they must be tidy and odor free. Now, like I told the team that were here last year, there are actually times that someone like me, there were times that I actually had what, maybe two, three blazers, dark colors, but you will never know because they were all properly taken care of. I could wear the same blazer 3 times in a week. You would not know because, of course, I'm mixing them with other colors of the the inner shirts or a blouse, so you can know how to actually put it together and still. So you don't need to have a whole range of wardrobes. No, you don't need to have a whole range of expensive clothes. No, that's what we're speaking about here. We're just making sure that whatever you have, even if it is two, if it is three, they must be clean at every point in time. Please don't wear squeezed clothes. Make sure that they are ironed. There, if it's a shirt, it's properly, ironed. If it's a blouse, it's properly clean and it's tidy and it is odor free at every point in time. Please don't put on a shirt or a top and then you just put on a perfume or you put on like a freshener to no. You might not smell it, but you can be sure somebody else may pick up that odor. So please, let's not try and do that. If you wear something, make sure it is washed, it is dry cleaned before you repeat it again. And please be mindful of body odor. Usually, you will most likely not be aware of it. The safest thing to do is just use a deodorant whether you're sweating or not. It's just safer. That way it saves you. Even that means that even if you're sweating, it really would not show. So please, at every point in time, try to use a deodorant. Make sure you get if you have an oily face like I do, get an oil free. Make sure that either if you're a gentleman, even if it's to have a handkerchief, just wipe your face. Make sure it doesn't look oily because at times it looks untidy if your face looks oily. For the females, make sure that it's just nicely put together. We'll still speak about makeup while we continue. So we're saying here that take adequate steps for cure and prevention of skin and other diseases, just in case if you're prone to skin diseases. If that happens, please make sure you see your doctor and get appropriate care and treatments before it actually spreads and maybe infects other people. So overall, cleanliness is very, very mandatory. Let's please be mindful of this. For the gentleman, like I said, I'm just here to remind you of what you already know. There are professional hairstyles, there are professional haircuts, and we are just meant to please be mindful of this. Yes, I know we're in a generation where it looks as if a lot of things are flying out of the window, but when it comes to being professional, really the code of conduct still stays the same. Make sure that your hair doesn't fall over your ears, which is very unlikely because I mean we're African, so our hair doesn't really grow, over or touch the back of our collar. We really don't do that, except if you have braids or if you have locks. If you have that or if you have dreads, make sure that they are neat and tidy. And at every point in time, if you're going in for a meeting, try and pack it up together and just make it look neat. You can clearly you can have dreads, you can have locks, but don't let it be flying all over the place. It doesn't give a very tidy look. So let's ensure that we present a neat appearance at every point in time. If you have facial hair, please make sure that it's low, make sure that it is trimmed and it just looks very nicely cut at every point in time. For some who don't have, just make sure that it's still your face still looks, clean and well shaven at every point in time. Untrimmed mustache and sideburns, they are not recommended, especially in the professional environment. Let's please be mindful of that. Hairstyles for women, we have a lot of options, we have a lot of choices. It's good to work within a very safe set of options. Make sure that our hair is neatly tied in a neat hairstyle. um, as often as we can, let it be back from our face because it makes you look more professional. It doesn't, so if you have hair all over the place, flying all over, it can be a distraction. So even if you're saying something very important or you're having a presentation, you can get, not you right now, the crowd can get lost in what you're saying because the hair is just all over the place. Let's make sure it's neatly tied, it's packed up together, and it just looks, in place. I mean, look at the very pretty examples that we have here. If you have hair longer than your jawline, please just tie it in a bun. Even if you have very long hair, just make it look neat and tidy. Even if you have braids, they can be as long as you want them to, as long as they look neat and they look presentable. If you have natural hair, make sure that they're well combed and at every point in time. So if you, for some who actually like hair clips, rubber bands, let's please work within a safe color. Let's not use very flowery colors. Even the rubber bands, just make sure that they are professional colors. Dark colors are more advisable, and not flowery pins as much as you can. For our nails, I said it when we first started that for some people, you get into a place and for some reason they're taking your entire appearance, head to shoes, in less than a few seconds. And your nails are also a part of this. Whether male or female, let's please make sure that our nails are trimmed and they're kept in shape. Even if you're fixing your nails, let's just make sure that the length is still within a considerable length. It's not too long for you not to be able to work either in an environment or cause a distraction. And let's be mindful of the colors. Let's please walk within a safe color. We're not using indigo or violet or yellow. Just let's stick within a safe color for our nails. Brittle and discolored nails really are not, it doesn't complement a look. And we're trying to, when we talk about grooming, it's not just about our clothes, it's about everything, and our nails are a part of that. The teeth and the mouth, some of us smile a lot, so let's ensure that we keep a very clean teeth, very clean mouth, odor free at every point in time. Well, it is advisable that you rinse well after every meal if you can. If you can't, when you get home, try and use a mouthwash or a quick brush and just rinse it out. You would actually even feel better when you wake up the next day if you've brushed your mouth before going to bed um, at night. It's recommended, if you can, rinse your mouth after every meal, but if you can't, please try and brush once you get back home. So that makes it twice a day. So makeup for women, like I said earlier, let's try and stay within a natural selection color, especially if we're going to work. If we're going somewhere else, of course you can use all the colors that you want. Nobody's going to be, well, they might still assess you, but I mean, you're not in a work environment. Nail polish and lip color should not be too trendy or bright. If we're using perfumes, please let's stick with the mild fragrance. Let's not use a heavy perfume that you go into the elevator or you go into an office and people are sneezing. Nobody wants that. So let's stick within a very mild fragrance, but please, as much as you can, try and use perfumes, try and use fragrances. It really complements how you look. It speaks to a complete groomed person. Like you enter a place, and the truth is this, it does not have to be an expensive brand. Try and get something mild, try and get something very subtle, not too heavy. And I'm speaking to both male and female now, not just for the women. The men too, please try and get fragrances, is really very good. So apart from you looking well, it is also very good if you can smell well at the same time. Now, women, we've been told to try as much as possible. Stay away from extremely dark, bright red, fluorescent colors. We all know this. Like I said, I'm just here to remind you and to reiterate. A lot of us already know the colors that we're meant to stick to. So please, bright reds, fluorescent colors are not advisable, and extremely dark colors too are really not advisable. Except maybe you're talking about a blazer or a black dress. Yes, that would work. Hair color should not be more than 1 or 2 shades darker or lighter than your natural hair color. So like I said, I mean, we're in a generation where right now we tend to see a lot. But like I said, please know that when it comes to a professional environment, the status quo still remains the same. That being said, there are some of you who clearly either already work in maybe multinationals or will work in multinationals. Be mindful of the culture there. If they all have pink hair, that means maybe you can actually have pink hair. But under normal circumstances, let's try and stay within natural colors in a professional environment. Now, so for men, when we're speaking about accessories, it's been advised that gentlemen try and restrict your jewelry to 3 pieces so it doesn't look too clustered. So we're speaking around if you have a wedding band on, or if you just wear a ring, we're speaking around your wallet, your handkerchief, and of course your handkerchief really shouldn't be too casual or too colorful. Stick within the official colors, either blue or white or gray, just those colors. Because I mean, you don't want to bring out your handkerchief from your pocket and it's looking like that, just looking like a rainbow. We don't want that. Stick to appropriate colors. Um, if you wear a dress watch, try and avoid sporty and athletic styles. Just wear a regular a regular watch as much as you can, especially if it's in a work environment. We've been advised, gentlemen, try and avoid bracelets, necklaces. I mean, as long as they're not visible. For some of you, if you wear them, they can be under. That's fine, you can keep them. But as much as possible, try and avoid necklaces and visible piercings. This is speaking to the gentleman. For the females too, when it comes to piercings, I mean, for example, I have a piercing, but I make sure that I wear a very tiny nose ring so it's not a distraction, it's not all over the place. So if you have a nose piercing, for example, don't wear something that will be too bogus. Don't wear, you know, just don't wear something that would like be too bogus. Just wear something neat and tidy. So even though you have a nose piercing or you have additional piercing, wear very simple jewelry on them so it doesn't look, out of place at any point in time. If you wear spectacles, please make sure that it's a simple design. Try and avoid glitters for both male and female. For the females, we can actually get away with a bit of glitters, but don't make it too bright, don't make it too shiny for work environments. If we're not at work, of course, we can put on any pair of glasses that we want. For the gentlemen, try and keep a clean design, try and keep and restrict within appropriate colors so that it doesn't look out of place at any point in time. Accessories for women, like I just mentioned a few minutes ago, your jewelry, let's try and keep it minimal. Let's try and be conservative at every point in time. Um, well, they've said we should remove facial piercings, except earrings. Like I said, mine is almost invisible. So if you do like it like me, make sure it's really very tiny, almost invisible, so that it's not even obvious unless the person is really very close to you. But as much as possible, please don't wear chunky bracelets or too many bangles. It would be a huge distraction. Just wear hand chains. I mean, that's just round your wrist and it wouldn't make any noise. It won't clink together even if you're walking. So please avoid chunky bracelets or too many bangles. Even if you wear bangles, you can wear, there are some that are just 2 or 3. They're really very nice and simple. Those ones are also still acceptable. For females, we've been given a 5-piece rule. We've been said to Your earrings count as two, your watch counts as three, and you're allowed additional accessories. Someone like me, I love brooches a lot. So I believe your brooch will count as one. You can wear your chain, but make sure it's just a nice, simple chain which is suitable for a professional environment. Apart from your working bag, if you're carrying an additional bag, please try and ensure that you restrict it within black or brown. So maybe your laptop bag, for example. So now we're speaking to dress code. Before choosing a dress, let's have it at the back of our mind that you represent an image of, say, for example, an organization. So there's this saying that it stayed with me now, I would say maybe almost 30 years. And I hope it would also resonate and stay with you. It's when you dress the way you want to be addressed. So the way you dress is how you will be addressed. You need to always remember that. So we've been told now, if, say, for example, you're an organization, you're going for a meeting, or you're going for a presentation, or you're going to even sell a product or a service, you are representing your organization. Have that at the back of your mind at every point in time. Now, understanding the culture of where you work, it would help decide the kind of clothes that you would shop for. So, what about how many years ago now? Maybe 12, 13 years ago, I was working in Dangote as service delivery manager. We had a very casual dress um, sense in Dangote, and it's approved. So you can actually come to work on Monday in your full native attire, but you would still come to work looking professional, even though you were wearing native. You were not allowed to wear slippers, you could wear sandals. So you need to understand the dynamics of where you work and make sure that you are working or you're dressed in line with that. Please don't wear a pair of jeans when you know that you're in an environment where it's actually very formal dressing. So be mindful of where you work and also work and dress in line with the agreed dress code. Like I said, casual does not mean sloppy. So even though it was casual dressing then in Dangote, it was still very professional dressing. So if you work in an environment where it could be casual, just make sure that even though you're casual, you can do business casual. So you're still looking. So you probably are not wearing a tie. You can still wear a jacket. You can wear a shirt. Make sure you wear a pair of pants. It's properly tucked in. That's for the gentlemen. For the ladies, look smart. It doesn't mean that we'll just wear maybe a cam top or a spaghetti top and we're going to work. Let's make sure that we actually dress the way that we want to be addressed. And like I said, please know the dress code of the organization that you work for. So these are just tips really around professional attire for men. Your tie, talking about the design, classic design. Ensure you have classic colors. You shouldn't touch the top of the belt. So this is just teaching you how to make sure that you're dressed appropriately for the gentleman. Shows you your suit should be single breasted, navy, black or gray. Like I said earlier, those are really the basic blazers that I had, and it felt like I had 15 blazers, but there were just three. So it's just knowing how to put them together. Your hygiene, like I said, even though you're a gentleman, please as much as you can. Make sure you use your deodorant. Make sure you use the perfume if you can. It really just shows a complete groomed person. If you do have tattoos, make sure you wear clothes that would actually cover them. Yet again, your work environment determines how you actually dress and you look. Just work in line with the code of dressing in your environment. We've spoken about the hair, so this is just giving you, additional information. We've spoken about the jewelry. Your footwear is very, very important. Make sure that at every point in time they are polished, they are clean, even if it's just one pair. Make sure that they look very tidy, they're not dusty at any point in time. If they have laces, Please make sure the laces are not hanging out of the shoes. They are all neatly done and tucked in so it doesn't look, out of place. Just be very conscious of your entire outlook from your head to your toe. All right, so this is for the women. So you can just, glance through this. It's really what we have spoken about. You can see that even though she has long hair, it's not all over her face. So it looks very neat and tidy. It's still the same colors of suits or blazers, navy blue, black, and gray. Accessories, we've been advised that it should be moderate, especially in a work environment. Our shoes also, please ensure they're polished, they're well maintained, preferable to wear a covered shoe, not an open sandals. Yet again, if it's acceptable in your environment, based on where you work, just work and dress in line with the culture of your environment. We've spoken about your hygiene, and we've spoken about jewelries and dressing in general. So for a lot of organizations, really now do business casual. I mean, she looks really very smart, even though it's business casual. So you can wear business casual and still look really smart and command a lot of respect with the way you put yourself together. You can wear corporate dresses. Um, if you're wearing skirts, make sure it gets to the knee. Blouses, blazers, pants, shoes. Make sure that everything is well put together, even though it's a business casual. Right. So now let's speak about the success formula. Right. For a lot of us, we do very well in just putting clothing items together. It really is very, very easy. And it's just knowing how to match the appropriate colors with the appropriate, say, for example, your blazer or your jacket. So now we're advised that black, blue suit, black and blue are the colors of authority. You clearly would need a white shirt, red collar tie up to the waist, um, your black socks, black shoes, and a buckle belt. So this is very, I mean, they pretty much have just taught you how to dress up and you would stand out. Make sure the shirt is white, is clean, is well ironed. Use a red tie, but be mindful of the kind of red. There's a very good shade of red, not the, I don't know, I can explain it now, but just be mindful of the red. Be mindful that it doesn't go, past the belt. Make sure that you're please wearing a black pair of socks and black shoes, and the belts. Please, let's not wear belts that has a big buckle. Those belts that you wear on jeans. Let's please not try and wear that when we're dressing up in the corporate environment. The colors that work. We've been told that dark to medium range blues, navy blue is a perfect color to have. It is respected by all social economic levels. We would need gray. We will need camel and beige colors. Clearly, we need black. Dark brown is also advisable, but it should be one of the last because you really may not be able to repeat dark brown as much as navy blue and gray and black. Burgundy, I hardly would see that around. But if you're into that shade, especially for the female, that actually might work. And also rust. But I would say, unless you have a wide range of options, stick to the basic colors: your navy blue, your gray, your black. Those are really the basic colors. Colors to avoid. For the females, we've been told to, as much as possible, tints, pastels, especially pale and yellow, doesn't really speak to a professional outlook. Bright orange is a no-no. For both male and female, we've been told to stay away from most shades of green. Mustard, mustard is not advisable. Dark colors make you seem more powerful, so we've been told to please use them when you need to show authority and control. Right. So now we're told on how to dress for an interview. So you can just take a look at this. Like I said, I'm sure we know this already. This is just a reminder, and for us to just reiterate on the importance of ensuring that at every point in time we go in with our best foot forward. Please be mindful of your hairstyle, especially if you're going for an interview. Don't have hair all over your face. Make sure it's neatly packed, tied behind your ears. For the females, gentlemen, please have a very neat haircut. For the female, if you're wearing a shirt, make sure that it's a colored shirt, and because it actually gives you that very professional look, but it doesn't have to be a colored shirt. It can also be a round neck shirt, but just make sure that you've worn it together and it looks really tidy. Your skirt should please be knee length. Like we've said, try and stay within dark colors, navy, black, charcoal. For some who wear pop socks, make sure that the color doesn't go. How will I put it now? Make sure you're wearing a suitable pop socks color if you like to wear them. It's not necessary. Your shoes, as much as you can, make sure that they are low or medium. But if you like to wear high heels and you're comfortable in them, please feel free to wear your high heels as long as you're comfortable in them and you can still walk very well in them. Gentlemen, please remember your advice to please wear long sleeve and press shirts. They should be neat, they should be clean. Um, a two-piece suit really is suitable. Um, the colors are still the same: navy, black, and charcoal. Um, Matching dress, socks, and your shoes. Please make sure that the shoes are very clean at every point in time. So this is just an example of professional outlook for the females. Like you can see in the third picture, she's not wearing a collared shirt, but she still looks very, very presentable. But the lady with the blue really does look very, very presentable, although her hair is all over the place. So I would say, the hair, I mean, she's a model, but so we're focusing on her dressing. The shirt and the skirt, the way she put it together, very, very neat. And like I said, if you're comfortable with very high heels, please feel free to wear them. But it's safer to wear comfortable shoes that you will not struggle with, so that at least it's less one thing that you have to worry about. For the gentlemen, these are just um, recommendations of how you can dress professionally and command the right attention if you go for a meeting or you are making a presentation or you're going for a sale. So just take a look at this and let's work with this. You can see the kind of belt that is here, and that's what I was trying to say. Let's please stick to this very simple professional buckles. We're not using belts that have glitters, that have maybe an alphabet or something. We can keep that, for our weekend outings, but let's please not use that when we are at work. Right. Let's please remember that there's a time and place for every type of attire. The items that clearly we would wear for a party or for a club, they are not by any standard acceptable in a work environment, no matter how casual that work environment is. So let's please be very mindful of that. Right. So, in conclusion, we can say that, just like we said in the beginning, you only get one chance to make a good first impression. So, it is important to tell yourself, even before you leave home, that you are putting your best foot forward. Now, there's something that I also told them last year that I would say something that has stayed with me ever from university. I plan everything that I'm going to do the next day. One of those major things is what I would wear. So please don't be that person that you're going to bed, you don't know what you will wear the next day, and either you have a meeting or you're going to work or you just have to be somewhere. You need to actually either have visualized it, if you can, even set it aside. It's one less thing you need to worry about, so that even if there's a crease on it, you can quickly iron it. If it has a stain, you can quickly take care of it. But don't wake up and then go have your bath, and then that's when you're trying to sort out what you would wear. That's really very poor planning, and really somebody who pays attention to their appearance would not do that. If you pay attention to your appearance even before you go to bed, you would either mentally have sorted out what you would wear, but to be on the safe side, it is better to actually set it aside and check that it is actually in good condition, because just what if there's a stain on it and you didn't know, or just what if it's just creased or it's not properly ironed. So but if you've taken time to set it aside, by the next day you know that at least that is done. So it actually speaks to somebody who is intentional about their personal branding. And like we also said initially, your appearance, it tells others about how you feel about yourself, and which in turn will determine the way they treat you. Remember when I said that dress the way you want to be addressed? If you enter a meeting, you enter a presentation, you enter an office, and even you feel confident because you know that you have taken time to ensure your hair is brushed, it's combed, it's neatly done, your nails look neat, you're wearing appropriate clothes, your shoes are clean, your outfit is put together, you will feel confident, you will speak with confidence. And like I said, even if you're not 100% sure of what you're supposed to say, trust me, your confidence level will take you through. So you need to actually yourself be confident. And you can only do that when you have given an assurance to yourself that you have done the best you can do in putting that entire outlook together. Right. Now, your corporate ladder climb will be easier if you look like you belong there. Okay. So that means that even if you're just young managers or young interns, dress very well, dress very smartly. And even if your bosses don't say anything about it, they are taking a look at you. They are taking all that in. And when it's time for them to pick someone to either represent the organization or go for a meeting, they would pick you because you know why? They have come to believe that you are a brand ambassador, that you would actually represent the company well. And that's why I said that not just about interviews, even if it is going to work every day, be intentional about your personal branding. Be known to be that person who would always look their best. Now, there are times that some might say, "Oh, why are you looking, so dressed every day that you need to?" It's a personal branding thing. It's a choice you have to make, and really, it's something you need to be intentional about. When you get into a place, before they even take a listen to what you have to say, before you start your presentation, before you even engage in a meeting or a conference or a webinar, they're looking at you. They have assessed you, and really, if you don't look like you actually command respect, you would lose the crowd, and you get just that one opportunity to make that first impression. So this is just it's just like, who would you hire? I mean, come on, we all know who will hire. We'll clearly hire the lady A, because I mean she looks ready for the job. She looks like she belongs there, unlike our young lady B, who clearly just looks like she's there to play. And a work environment is a very, very serious environment. People are looking for serious minded people. They're looking for people who are intentional, not just about their knowledge, not just about their capability, but about even their appearance at every point in time. Right. So another, who would you hire? The gentleman who looks like he belongs there, or the young man who looks like he's just there to deliver pizza to the door. So let's please be mindful of where we are. And I was going to say something. So, say for example, you have an interview invitation at a company that is known to be very, very casual. Trust me, that does not mean you going for that interview, you should also be casual. No, you're going there for an interview. Dress like you're going for an interview. Be corporate, be formal. Let them be the ones to say, "Oh, why are you so formal?" That's fine. But they would appreciate the fact that you have taken time to get ready for that interview because it is actually important to you. So even though it's a casual environment, please don't go there for an interview dressed casual like them. Please don't do that. When you join the organization and you pass the interview, you can also fall in line and dress casually. But please, if you're going for an interview, still dress as corporate as you should. Now, so what influences you is surely what? The level of sophistication, the color of your tie, your shoes, your dress, your well groomed appearance, a conservative appearance as much as you can, overall attractiveness. It, like I said, it's a whole complete package. Um, they're what we call non-verbal signs, and that means that, say for example, you enter a meeting or you enter a session, even if you're not there to speak and maybe you're just a part of the team, just you looking very good, looking very smart, you would command attention, and people would actually want to know, oh, what organization are you from? Who are you representing? So you need to actually know that people would like to engage with you based on how smart and how decent and how dashing you look. Yes, I had to use that word. So let's please be intentional about our overall appearance. It gives you a level of confidence that it feels like you actually have, all the brains in the world. And sometimes really you actually could, but if you are a very brilliant person and you don't take time to groom yourself, you don't take time to ensure that you actually look neat at every point in time, you get lost in the crowd. And the entire brilliance, your capability, your intelligence, it might end up counting for nothing because you get to a place and maybe your shirt is wrinkled, or maybe you have a body odor, or you're just not looking, like you belong there, even though you have all that information that they need and you have all the knowledge. The person probably will not get hired. So as much as we try to build our mental capabilities, let's ensure that our personal branding is also very, very important. Thank you very much. That is the end of the session. Right. Okay. Funshaw. I can see Funshaw's hands up. Right. So, Mercy, are you still there? Thank you very much, Kade. Thank you, BMA. Thank you, everybody. So where is Mercy or Edith? Oh, okay. I think there's a bit of a network problem. Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. Okay, Oyi, what's my take on wearing glasses for an interview? Are you talking about prescription glasses? If they're prescription glasses, of course you need to wear your glasses. Someone like me, if I take off these glasses, I assure you I will not be able to see anything. So yes, please, you should wear your glasses for your interview, especially if they're prescription glasses and not just fashionable ones. Yes, Peter, I agree with you. Yes. Just wear a regular size, not something out of place. Let me see if there are other. Thank you very much, Jeremiah. That's a very beautiful compliment. But no, I'm an IT auditor, not a therapist. I don't think I'll do well in therapy. Thank you very much for that. Right, so I'm waiting for my team, but I'm still very much here. Thank you, Felua. Thank you, Akindoyin Kende. Thank you very much, Lawal. So, does anybody have questions for me? Okay, so I think um, hold on. I think there's a message from Edith. Let me just try to get to it. Right. So I've been told to let you know that you're going on a 10 minutes break. Okay. So you can go on a 10 minutes break because they need to sort out the network problems. Funshaw, Funshaw, you can speak to Edith about the contact. She will clearly ask you why you want my contact, but please speak to Edith. Okay. All right then. So I believe you can all go on a 10 minutes break. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a very good session. But if you still have questions for me, I'm still here. Okay. Atema, um, in a certain way, you happen to be in an interview, and you have people who are well dressed and yet lack intellectual capabilities. On the other hand, okay. So let me answer that question. If I'm on a panel, which I often am, and there's somebody who looks absolutely shabby but is brilliant, and there's someone else who is not well put together, um, but clearly the has that mental requirement. The truth is, no, I would still choose the brain. I would not choose appearance in comparison to intellectual capability. What I can do is I can recommend to the person to be a bit more intentional about the outlook, but you can be sure that that person will get to the next level, especially if they have the required knowledge. So, no, in an interview session, the person who is brilliant, the intellectual person, the person who has the mental capability, is still the one that will get the job. Okay, so it's those were just scenarios, but really, so yes, the brilliant person will clearly still get the job, but of course they'll be advised on how to try and look better for the next interview session. Okay, thank you for that question. Okay, is it proper to continually upload my pictures on LinkedIn, both professional and fun pictures? So from my personal perspective, I only upload professional pictures on LinkedIn because it's a strictly business account for me. But there are people who are comfortable uploading other pictures. It doesn't mean it's wrong, but in my candid opinion, it's a professional place. We have the Twitter, we have the Facebook, we have the Instagram for the other pictures. LinkedIn is a professional place, and it should really just be for professional conversations and engagements. Mercy, that's my feedback.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. So please, we apologize for the network disconnection. We are back. So we won't be going on that 10 minutes break anymore,
A couple
right?
of a couple of people have dropped off already.
Oh, we'll call them back.
Okay.
Ma,
Okay.
that was a very informative session with you. I learned a lot, and I believe that everyone on the call actually got a lot too. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen this question. Is it proper to continually upload my pictures on LinkedIn, both professional and fun pictures?
Okay. So I answered that. I said from my personal perspective, LinkedIn is a very professional place. And we should try as much as possible to stick to professional engagement, professional pictures. But of course, say for example, you did a course, you graduated maybe an MBA or something. Of course, it's good to upload that. It's not like it's a party or something, but as much as possible, let's stick to just something professional. Academic also, it's absolutely very, very, very acceptable. So, for example, by the time we're done with Transformation College, for example, absolutely, we would love to see everybody's pictures, online. So that is a different conversation together. But in my candid opinion, you can post your fun pictures on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, but not on LinkedIn. It's meant to be a professional platform. Let's try and keep it like that.
All right. Thank you so much. That answers the question. Thank you very much, ma'am. Without further questions, we will be going to our second session. Please, everyone, appreciate our face trainer for today with a clapping ovation on the chat room. Please, let's appreciate her. Okay. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Mercy. All right. Thank you so much, Mike. So we will be going to our second session right about now. Please give me a moment to introduce our second trainer. Okay. All right, so our second trainer for this second session is none other than Inioluwa Aborowa. He will be taking us on ISO 14001. Inioluwa Aborowa is a dedicated and result-driven management system consultant with a profound commitment to enhancing organizational efficiency and fostering sustainable growth. He has a dynamic background in environmental advocacy and information security. Please, with a clapping of hands in the chat room, let's welcome our trainer for this session, who will be taking us on ISO 14001. Inioluwa, please, you can take it up from here.
Yeah, hello, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good morning and welcome to class.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope that during this class and after, we are going to, after the class, we'll be able to understand what the ISO 14001 is all about. So, just give me a very few minutes to share my screen and get us into section. So, just give me some minutes to do that. Okay. So I'm still working on getting myself set up, please. Sorry, please, I'm still on it. I'm having a bit of a system issue here, that's why. Sorry.
Hello, would you like us to share this? Hello, Ini, can you hear me? Mercy, please try to share the screen from your end.
All right, on it, ma'am.
Hello?
Please
Hello?
go ahead. We can hear you now.
Yeah, so sorry for the delay. I'm very, very sorry. It's a bit of an issue on my hand. So, once again, good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Sorry for taking so much time to get things set up. So, this morning we are looking at the ISO 14001, which is the 2015 edition or the 2015 version of this particular standard, which is environmental management system. So I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, we can see your
All
screen.
right, thank you. So without much further ado, let's dive right into what we have. So when we are talking about the management system, there are different management system standard actually when it comes to the ISO standards. So one of them is ISO 14001, which is environmental management systems. The management systems are aspect, which is clause 4 to 10. And it's one of the things we are going to be talking about today, and we are going to dive deeper later on into it. But before going further, let me just iterate which speaks to the context of the organization. Under that, we have clause 5, which speaks to the leadership, which also have a series of clauses. Under it, we have clause 6 that asks series of clauses also, which is planning, and we have clause has 5 sub clauses under it, and we have clause 8, which is operation, and clause 9 that speaks to performance evaluation, and we have clause 10, which speaks to improvement. So later on, we are going to dive deeper into what the requirement speaks in respect to. So here we are going to, what we are going to be covering this morning is we are going to look at an introduction into what ISO 14001, looking at the definition and purpose, and what environmental management system to an organization and to the environment at large. And also we will look at the principles that support environmental management system. So the word ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. That is the full meaning of the word ISO. So anywhere you see about International Organization for Standardization. So what is ISO? Who are they as a person or as a body? So ISO, and it has networks of national standardization bodies from over 160 countries, and they have their head office in what we call ISO. Since 1947, they've been able to publish over 200,000 standards. Like I said earlier on, that there are different management system standards, which ISO 14001 is one of them. So also we see that we have 20,000 standards. We can classify them into two, which is we have some that we can classify as vertical standard, and we have others that we can classify as the horizontal standard. So when we talk about the vertical standard, so these are standards that are applicable to specific. Example of them is the ISO 14000 series and ISO about the horizontal standard. These are the organization, it's applicable to us. So example of this horizontal standard, we can make mention of ISO 27001, which is information security, and there is no organ. And also we have ISO 9001, which is quality management system. As an organization, after improvement of its quality to ensure that it meets customers' requirement and for them to stay in business. So let's look at what the basic principle of ISO is. So the ISO body, they have what we call equal representation. So every full flag member of a ISO body has and the right to develop any standard that it's deemed fit and important to its economy of its own country. About when we talk about equal representation, and when we talk about also another basic principle is that it's voluntary. ISO standard is a non-governmental organization. This organization, like, okay, we've published this standard, and it's mandatory for organization to adopt this standard. No, they don't have the power, but nevertheless, and we've seen that in various countries around the world, that legislative bodies, they've adopted this standard. After taking a look at this standard, they've seen that, oh, this standard in this area is applicable and it's beneficial to organizations. So legal authorities and regulatory bodies have now adopted this standard by enforcing it as a responsibility that, okay, as an organization like this, it is expected that organizations that are maybe they are manufacturing organization, this ISO 14000 is of utmost importance to them, in the sense that as an organization that you're into manufacturing mental aspect, those things that you are discharging to the environment, how do you want your waste product, how do you plan on managing them to ensure that it doesn't have negative or adverse effect on the environment. So also we have what we call business orientation. That's another basic principle of the ISO bodies. They only develop or produce standards that they know that there are market demand for. For instance, if there is no market demand for a particular standard, they won't have come out and say, okay, let's develop this particular standard for people's adoption. Initially, generally, the initial standard that they started with, which is, and these days we refer to as the mother of all standard, is the ISO 9001, which is quality management system. So after that, we have diverse and various standards that was also developed. So, and the reason why that you're able to develop this standard is the requirement that they see on the global scale, that the world needs a framework, an organization needs framework whereby they can use as a guide to ensure when it comes to the management of their environmental aspect as an organization, so that we keep the world green. Another one is concession approach, which means that before the releasing of any standard, there are diverse experts, researchers, people that in that particular aspect of the proposed aspect of standard, that understand and they have deeper understanding of what is expected, or what to be needed, that is expected to be of benefit to organizations when they want to develop a particular standard. For instance, now if they want to develop, or when they want to develop the ISO 14001 standard, there are experts, people that understand the environment, researchers that have conducted research in one area or the other to ensure that, okay, if we want to protect the environment and ensure that as an organization, that whatever our environmental aspect is, maybe it is emission, or maybe it comes to contamination, or using of our available natural resources, that these are methods, these are guidelines that we can use to ensure that all these things are effectively utilized, and what we release to the environment, and we ensure that the toxicity level of that particular aspect, it's reduced to what the environment can actually accept. So also we have international cooperation in the sense that in the establishing of any standard, it ensures that they make use of ideas from various people that are international. It's not that okay now they want to develop a standard and they just okay only people in Nigeria, without considering that okay this particular standard, is it possible that it can be adopted outside of Africa, or can it be adopted in another country and also it will achieve the intended goal whereby the particular standard has initially been established. So we are moving to the next slide that speaks to ISO management principles. What is the principle behind the development of each of these standards? And what do these standards aim to achieve? And let's not forget that ISO standard, the aim actually is not to change the world. It's to improve our processes within the organization. So, and one of the way and one of its principles in helping us as an organization to achieve that improvement, it is what we call customer focus. There is no organization that can do without their customers. So ISO standard is customer focused. It looks at how do we ensure that as an organization we met the requirements of our customers. Maybe it may be in quality of what our product is, and also and how we manage our environmental aspects. For instance, in a community whereby there is, let's assume there is a manufacturing organization, let's say a petroleum producing a refinery, for instance, in a particular environment, the customers, we have some requirements from the organization, which is one, they want whatever products or services that is being rendering to be of good quality, which ISO helps to achieve that. Also, when we are speaking to environmental aspect of it now, the product you are rolling out, is it something that is environmentally friendly? That is one of the things that ISO 14001 assists us and is helping organization to also address. Also, we talk about leadership. There is no organization, there is no settings or group that can roll or that can progress without leadership. So the ISO standard also allows us to understand the need for leadership that has directions, that has purpose. So they help us, it's one of the principles, one of the things that the ISO management system wish to achieve, and also engagement of people in we trying to achieve the implementation of ISO 40001 standard within the organization. It's ensure that we carry people along, because people are the one we are going to use for the processes in our businesses. So it ensures that we engage people. That is why further when by the time we continue further, we will see the need that in each of the clauses, the requirement of the standard is saying that okay, you have to ensure that you identify what the internal issue, the internal external issue is. And also it talks about we identifying who are the interested parties. So ISO standard, ISO 14001 is not something that can be done in silos or in isolation. It's something that we need to do and ensure that in doing so, we have to carry people along with people within the organization and also our relative stakeholders. Also, we can see that ISO 27, ISO 40001, sorry for that, ISO 40001, it's process-based approach. It's desired results. Now,
when we have when we want to carry out a particular action, if there is a process to it, then I can know that, okay, if I start here, after this is the next thing to do, this is the next thing to do, this is the next thing to do. With that, we'll be able to have a desired result. So, and that is one of the benefits of what ISO 14001 is offering, and ISO management system in general. That is how they are being designed. Also, we have what we call continuous improvement. In that, as an organization, before the adoption of this particular standard, for instance, we've seen that and we've measured and we've noticed that, oh, the level of negative impact that we are having on the environment due to maybe as an organization, the emissions from our organization, from our factory, how it's impacting the environment. Also, we've seen that our effluent, that is what we discharge when it comes to liquid waste, it's impacting the environment negatively. So we've identified these issues. We've now decided to, okay, let's adopt ISO 14001 to assist us to ensure that we minimize and combat these particular issues that we've seen. By the time we start, we are going to start from somewhere. It's just like climbing a ladder. We want to climb the ladder, we don't start from the top, we start from a particular, we start from the starting point, which is the first point. And over time, what we call continuous improvement is we growing, ensuring that after the implementation, we conduct what is called measurement. It's from this measurement, we now identify, okay, these are the areas we need to grow further to ensure that we establish a robust environmental management system. So continuous improvement is an opportunity that ISO standard gives to organization, and also evidence-based decision making. We can see after the implementation of, we'll talk in depth about all these later on. When we talk about evidence-based, is that before we make decisions, the decision we are making is from data that have been gathered and analyzed. We don't just make decisions without enough evidence to back up the decision we are making. Like I was saying the other time about, we as an organization, before we decided to adopt ISO 14001, for instance, which is a guideline to environmental management system, we've gathered that information that over the years, we've seen that the impact of the emission we are releasing to the environment, our effluent, that one way or the other, it's contaminating the environment where we are situated and negatively impacting people residing in that environment. It is from the data we know, oh, this is the right step for us to take to ensure that we also as an organization will contribute in one way or the other to the protection of the environment. Also, relationship management. Organization we can't do without suppliers or without our vendors or third parties, which also ISO management systems has helped us in ensuring that, to ensure that now I as an organization to checkmate, to mitigate the risk that I'm posing to the environment as a result of producing. Now, it is also not enough that I have done that. I should also ensure that as part of my continuous improvement, as part of me being in compliance with the required guidelines, that I also ensure that henceforth, any supplier that I want to go into business with is also environmental conscious. So that is what that is all about. So like I said the other time, we have diverse over 200,000 presently, but there are common ones that are out there. So we can see example of it, which is ISO 9001, which is quality management system. You can see ISO 14001, which is environmental, which we are considering presently, which is environmental management system. 18001, which is health and safety, and we can see ISO 20000, which is IT service management system. 22301, which is business continuity. 27001, which is information security, and then we can see ISO 14001. ISO 45001, which is occupational standard. They are standalone, but as an organization, we can decide that, okay, we want to implement more than one of this standard at the same time, which is, as an organization, I can decide that, okay, due to the services we are rendering, we need ISO 9001, which is quality management system. Also, we need ISO 14001, which is environmental management system. And also, okay, we need business continuity also, and we need information security. That is 4 standards. So now implementing this standard together is now referred to as integrated management system. That is integrating 2 or more standards together. So that is what integrated management system is, and which we refer to as IMS. So now let's now see integration of a management system. What is the benefit to us as an organization? One, it harmonizes and helps us to optimize practices. Also, it assists us to formalize informal systems. So, like I said the other time, the ISO standards, they've given us guidelines on how to ensure that we achieve when it comes to management of managing of our environmental aspects, our environmental issues as an organization. That will ensure that these guidelines are what we follow to achieve what we want to achieve. So normally we have been doing something, there has not been any defined process to it. Now, ISO helps us to achieve that by ensuring that whatever system, whatever process we are using, it is well documented, so that if someone is leaving and someone else is coming to take on that role or that responsibility, if we have access to, okay, this is how it's been done. I just need to, I need to go to this room, get into this room, I need to turn on this, turn that on, formalize processes that are not initially formalized. Also, it helps us to reduce duplication when we integrate management systems together. For instance, it was 4 to 10, like I rightly said initially. So instead of us implementing and duplicating processes, that, okay, if you want to, when it comes to incident response, for instance, let's say incident response, instead of we duplicating having incident response team for one for this particular standard, having another incident response team for this standard, for this standard also, having another for this standard. No, it assists us to integrate, ensuring that the same people that we serve as incident response team when it comes to ISO 14001 is the same set of people that we are going to use when it comes to 27001 and also when it comes to BCMS. So doing that, it helps us to reduce cost in a lot of ways, that we don't duplicate process, and also when it comes to resources that needed to be used by this set of people, it's not. Also, it shifts as create communication. It's one of the requirements of ISO 14001 that we conduct what we call communication. And like I said, it is people's focus when we are talking about the principle the other time that ISO is, and how do we engage people? By having effective, that is the benefit of having integrated management system. So let's look at what ISO 14001 stands for actually. ISO 14001 set out the criteria for an environmental management system. It does not state requirements for environmental performance, but maps out a framework that a environmental management system, like I said, all ISO has to follow to that particular set of standards we want to adopt, so that these are the things that we need to put in place. So also using ISO ISO 14001 can provide assurance to stakeholder that environmental impact. Let's assume you and I were in a community whereby we have a manufacturing organization. I remember some years back, I need to do a particular project, and there's this particular factory. They produce paint, they produce nail, these iron materials in general. But the thing is, the effluents being discharged from this organization, when they just discharge their effluents, come and see the odor, and come and see even the color of what is being discharged. And this thing is going to flow down to a very popular river. That same river is where people, let's say the majority of the fishes that the people in that town are consuming. It's from that river. When it comes to drinking, when it comes to washing, doing irrigation, this is the river that people are using. And over the years, this discharge keep accumulating in this water. But then, as an organization, because they are trying to boycott regulatory bodies, it's only when people come around that they will do the necessity. But as an organization that is willing to do the right thing, the understanding of 14001 assists us to ensure that we measure the impact that whatever we are giving to the environment, after we are done with our production, whatever byproducts we are using to the environment, we have to measure the impact and ensure that how can we, if it is not something we can even totally eliminate, how can we reduce the toxicity to ensure that the effect on the environment at the long run is at minimum. So ISO also can be integrated with other management systems, like we said the other time. We can decide to integrate ISO system with the ISO 14000 quality management system and information. The standard can be applied to varieties of levels and businesses from, so we can decide to apply ISO standards to varieties of levels within the businesses. For instance, if we are organization that is into maybe different, we are into different business categories, for instance, we now see, okay, we want to do the adoption of ISO 14001, it doesn't really apply, or is not necessarily or much needed in this aspect. But in this aspect of the organization, we are doing production here. And these things we are producing, we have some certain byproduct that we release into the environment, or it has one way or the other that it impacts the environment. So let's adopt this standard for this particular department or for this particular section of our businesses, whereby we can apply maybe another standard to another aspect. So it can be applied in various levels of or within a particular businesses. So this is just a brief history of what ISO 14001 is all about. So we can see that initially from 1973, then again we have 1993, we have 1994, 1996, the present version that we are using, which currently the 2015 version. Like, just a brief history of the you can ask me that how did we come about having this ISO 14000 series. So initially this what we call the negotiation, that was actually in 1992. But before 1992, we can see that we have 1973 here. There has been some standard, but it's not referred to as ISO 14001. It's just over the years that the name keep changing. If you see 1992, we are so over the years the name keep changing about that. So benefit of ISO 14001 to us as an organization. Why do we need to implement ISO 14001? What's the use to organization or to the masses at large? We can see the first thing we have here, which is improve, and that is improvement management of environmental risk. Enhancement of health and safety, conformity, stakeholders' confidence, marketing, increase customer satisfaction. So now, as an organization, although there are some things that in Nigeria we might think that it's normal, manufacturing companies or manufacturing organizations, they can just do the way they like, release whatever treatment. But thank God for this particular standard, which is also a requirement that the regulatory body we use when it comes to environmental management system, to ensure that you as an organization, you're a manufacturing organization, do you have this standard in place? And what does this standard help you to achieve? By ensuring that you as an organization, you are proactive enough to identify the various environmental risks that you as an organization are posing, and also the various ones that can be posed by the environment to you as an organization. It also helps you to prioritize what we call health and safety of both the stakeholder within the organization and those outside. Also, this particular adoption of this particular standard assists us to be in conformity with the requirement of regulatory body. So also it increases customer satisfaction. For instance, I'm in an environment where I know there's a manufacturing company, and I know the product and services that they are rendering. For instance, someone like me that is environmentally conscious, that is always conscious about green. We have to go green. It's a requirement these days. If you look at the 21 SDG goals. So now I want to see what I'm consuming, the products that I'm consuming, how environmental friendly is it? If I see that, oh, this particular product, it's not a linear form whereby you produce, we consume, and we dispose. Thereby, the byproduct is just lying somewhere there over years, it doesn't decay, or one way or the other, it's littering or contaminating the environment. But then I noticed I might not. But if I see that you follow what we call the circular economy, that means from production to consumption, and after consumption, the leftover is one way or the other can be reused again, or one way or the other can be repurposed. It gives customer satisfaction, and also it serves customers and end users of products and services. Increase demands of their services and products through marketing advantage. Now, these days, if you as an organization, if you have a better, how would I say, a better product, let's use the plastic industry, for instance. Let's say that is helping us presently. You're able to produce something that you know that it's biodegradable, or that one way or the other, the end product can be converted into something else. You will have a market advantage over the present plastic industry we're talking about. So for the sake of my time, we like to move faster. So also lowering business costs through reducing resources consumption and waste production. That's all those things I've explained initially. Also achieving the environmental commitment and environmental policy requirements, committing to social responsibility. So the benefit of ISO 14001 is all what we see here in diverse ways. By the time we have it in place, it ensures that and assist us to reduce costs. Like I said, the other time, that if an organization is conducting what we call linear ways of processes, which is from production to consumption and to discarding that particular end product. You know, for the organization to produce something new, they will have to go and take another resources, fresh resources, which will cost that organization certain amounts again. But now imagine that you have something that you've produced initially, but after use, instead of discarding the end product, you can repurpose that particular end product to produce another new product. You will see that in one way or the other, it has reduced the cost that you use in that process. And also, the adoption of this particular standard helps us as an organization to be societal, like to have what we call a society, to be societal oriented, in the sense that we are committed to ensure that we are not just there to just make money and forget about people that we are impacting one way or the other negatively. So it assists us to ensure and achieve our social responsibility, and also ensuring that we achieve whatever policy, environmental policy and commitment that we as an organization we've set aside. So now let's look at what management system is. So when we talk about management system, what actually does management system mean? Management system means what the organization does to manage its processes or achieve, or activities rather, sorry for that, or activities in order that its product and services meet the organization objective. So that is what we mean by the word management system. Whatever it is that an organization or you as a person you are doing to ensure that the service you are rendering, that in one way or the other you are meeting that goal. that objective that you've set down, that is what we call management system. And what are these objectives? We can see one, which is number one, satisfying the customer quality requirement. For instance, you and I, as consumers, one way or the other, of one product or the other, we are always conscious of quality. Like, no, this one is better than this one. Let me go for this. Also, complying with regulation. I want, if I'm in a community whereby there's a manufacturing organization, I want them to be in compliance with required regulations to ensure that whatever they are discharging to the environment is well managed and treated appropriately to ensure that they don't release wrong thing to the environment. And also meeting environmental objective, we achieving a green economy. Like it is said, by 2030, we are looking towards zero carbon emission worldwide. Let's hope we achieve that. And how do we achieve that is because majorly it is organizations that releases the major aspect of it when it comes to environmental aspect. And not only them, also you and I also we need to be conscious of whatever it is our environmental footprint is. When it comes to consumption, are you the type that, for instance, we know these days that the plastic is an issue that is prevalent out there, that is common out there. So are you the type that you ensure that you manage how and how well you make use of plastic? It's not that you went to buy something today and you are given a nylon bag, you trash it somewhere. Tomorrow you are going again, you collect another nylon bag. I remember some years back, there's someone that used to look at me anytime I go to buy anything. And I was in the net as at that time, and this person was a Yoruba man. It was not like, are you trying to this mentality of maybe I'm using it for something else? It was like, so until I now explain to him that this is my reason why I always come with my own poly bag or nylon bag each time I want to buy something before he understands. So also ensuring that we meet our environmental objective. So to be efficient and effective, the organization can manage its ways of doing things by systemizing it. Now, like we said the other time, when we are talking about the principle, we talked about process approach. So whatever it is that we as an organization or we are doing to ensure that we are able to achieve our intended objective, a way whereby we can achieve effectiveness and efficiency is by ensuring that there is a system to it, a way that is being conducted, a formalized approach. And also, management system standard provides the organization with an international and state-of-the-art model of flow. Like I said, every management system, including this ISO 14001, it's a framework, a guideline, ensuring that these are the things we need to do. These are how we need to do it. Ensure that, okay, we are conscious, we conduct risk assessment, we identify this, we identify that. After that, we measure to ensure that where are we? Planning also. Management system gives us that opportunity, give us that idea on how to go about ensuring the management of our environmental impact. So a management system is a system that allows organizations to establish policies and objectives and to subsequently implement them. That is what management system is. There is an adage that used to say that where there is no rule, there is no offense. And if you should tell me something today now, you are telling me that, oh, Lua, don't do this. It's like when we discuss it It's just oral. It's a word of mouth. Tomorrow, I might do that thing and I will tell you that no, you didn't tell me. Yeah, I'm not aware. But then, you see, management system, when we talk about management, we are specifically here, we are looking at environmental management system, which is the 14001 standard. Is now that we as an organization, we now have a policy in place. After having policy, we have objective that we are setting, that we've already set. That, okay, this is our objective. Number one, we want to ensure that this year we are reducing our environmental footprint. We're ensuring that whatever we are releasing to the environment has less toxin. We've already, okay, our objective is to ensure that we make our employees and everybody to be environmentally conscious, to be environmentally aware. So all those objectives, that is what management system always assists us to achieve. So the management system of an organization may include different management systems, such as quality management system, like we discussed earlier. In that aspect, when we have more than one management system being implemented, when we have 14001 and other management system being implemented, then we now talk about IMS, what we call integrated management system. So also that's what we're trying to say, that this particular standard can be integrated with other standards. So environmental management system is a management system used to manage environmental aspects, fulfill compliance obligations, and address risk and opportunities. Like I said, and I've been saying like over 30 minutes or thereabout that we started, that the purpose of this ISO 14001 is to provide the guidelines for organization to ensure that they manage whatever environmental aspects that they are producing. And also, in also doing so, ensuring that they are in compliance with the regulation. Like if you remember, we talked about ISO body the other time, and we talked about it's voluntary, that ISO does not have power to ensure that they impose the adoption of their standard on anybody or any organization. But when we see that our regulatory bodies, legal authorities within countries, within nations, has decided to adopt these frameworks, these standards, and ensure that, oh, it's now a requirement for organizations to ensure that they are in compliance with the requirement that have been set down in these various standards. So that is what management system is all about. So let us look at the benefit of environmental management system. We are going to look at it in different contexts. We are going to look at it in organizational context. We are going to look at it at what we call management context, and we are going to look at it at when it comes to the masses of environment aspect. So let's look at what we have first, which is the organizational context. What is the benefit to an organization? That was to implement ISO 14001. But what is the content? What is the benefit to us as an organization? Is it just to benefit the environment alone? Or how does it benefit us, we as an organization? So one is improvement in overall environmental performance and compliance. One, it benefits us in the sense that by the time this particular standard is being implemented by organizations, remember what I said initially, that all this standard is not to really change the world, but it's the main focus is to ensure that assist organizations to improve their processes, their performance. And as a person, let's look at ourselves as a person. We are always conscious. That's why we are even here, you and I, improving We want to improve our understanding. We want to improve ourselves by ensuring that, oh, we have understandings of all this, what we call the GRC's standards. That's why we are here. So organizations also should always strive to ensure that there is an improvement in their performance. Thus, by adopting this particular standard, it assists organization to achieve that improved performance. Provide a framework for using pollution prevention practice to meet environmental management system objective. By the time any organization adopts this particular standard, it gives them the framework, the guideline they need to ensure that as an organization, it is necessary that you adopt the necessary means and practices, processes to ensure that, like I was saying, that as an organization before, if we are environmentally conscious enough, we will ensure that whatever it is that we are producing from our organization when it comes to our goods and services, that they are environmentally friendly. There are things that we know that it can be repurposed. And also, when it comes to our discharge, maybe emission-wise or comes to effluent, that will ensure that they are well treated. And I gave you the illustration of and the manufacturing organization I was talking about that produce paint, and also good. That time also, I remember we went to Coke also, we went to a particular organization also that produce, that is a pharmaceutical company also. I'm sure that as at that time, those organizations were not even be aware of this standard, but you and I are here, and we understand how this standard can be of use to organization. So also, it increases efficiencies and potential cost saving when managing environmental obligations. There are things I've explained all over again since the start, that when we are not the type that we use, we produce, and we dump. If it is we use, for instance, now, let's take for instance now. I remember in those days when the use of before we brought in this idea of we have plastic and drinks and stuff like that. You know, if you want to go and get something and you are with your boss, even if you see even to these days. For instance, I want to buy palm oil some month ago, and someone was telling me that okay, if I'm with keg, my own keg, that if I should come along with my own keg, that is going to sell it lesser compared to if I didn't come with my keg. It's exactly the same way with organizations. If they each time going to get new resources for the production of whatever services and they are rendering, they could repurpose those that they've used, like they've used previously, and convert it again into new. And also, maybe processes they've been running, everything is just going up and down. There is no particular documented procedure to it. And this one can just do this one in its own way, that one go its own way. But when there's a process to it, you see, it's going to save the resources that is being used in carrying out that processes. Promotes predictability and consistency in managing environmental obligation. If a particular process has been formalized in carrying out anything, we already know that, okay, as at the end, this is what we are going to have. We reduce our environmental impact negatively as an organization. We've developed these particular processes. Audit, we've measured, and we saw that, okay, last year from the analysis that was done last year, we noticed that the level of, when it comes to contamination that has been released to the environment, let's say it was at 90%. But now that we are environmentally conscious as an organization, we've now developed a formal processes whereby we do our things. We know that, okay, with this process, each time we are done, at least if we are going to have any contamination, it's going to be at the rate of 50%. So that 50%, we can further treat it before we release it to the environment. And also more effective targeting of scarce environmental management resources. If we are the type that is environmentally conscious, and we ensure that products and services that we are giving out, we are producing to the environment, is something that is what we call recycling, that we can recycle. It will assist us to ensure that we don't keep on going to the environment, keep exploiting the environment excessively, thus making our resources scarce. Also, it enhances public posture with outside stakeholders. Now, as an organization, there is nobody that wants to do business with the organization that is not environmental management system compliant. In the sense that if an organization is not living by the requirements of this standard, which is ISO 14001, and the regulatory body should come over, if they should sanction that particular organization, you that you are associated with them, one way or the other, maybe you are doing business with them at that particular time, whatever sanction that has been fight out to those organizations, we one way or the other impact you. They might not be able to render the service that they need to render to you as fast as possible. So if organization is environmentally conscious, they have this framework in place and they are following it effectively, it enhances the posture to other people. So people want to, it's just like information security. Before I can do business with anybody, I want to ensure that, oh, my information is safe with you. So also, if I want to do business with you, I ensure that, oh, are you conscious of what you release into the environment? Is your organization environmentally friendly? Are you green conscious? So if any organization is like that, then you will see that people want to do business with that organization. Let's look at it. What is the benefit when it comes to management context? We've talked about the organization as a whole. Management of organizations. One is the implementation of this particular standard. That is EMS 14001, is awareness of organization environmental effects. It will make the management in itself to be aware of the different environmental effect that they as an organization, that their organization is having on the environment. Because it will, during the implementation, all these environmental impacts will have been itemized and identified. The next one is collection of environmental data. So this data, because like we said, you remember me talking about measurement. So this data are things that can later be used during audits to ensure that, oh, okay, this is how we are sure that we're in compliance. For instance, you said you are in compliance with the requirement of the standard. And now they said, okay, your effluent discharge. And you are like, no, we don't know. But when you have this management system in place, when organizations implement this management system in place, it enables them to measure and collect data necessary to how they are impacting the environment. One, they will be aware. That awareness will result to them knowing how to go about what? Data collection. Also, easier management of legal compliance. Like I said, it's what is being adopted by regulatory body that organization needs to be compliant with these requirements. Recognize tools suitable for marketing purpose, increase commitment of environmental issues, and also improve management control through increasing efficiency and financial saving. These are the things we've talked about, that as an organization, when we have this organizations have these things in place, and they will need the help of you and I to ensure that they have these things in place. One, it will boost the organization posture by ensuring that if the organization wants to do marketing, they can say, oh, come and see, we are environmentally friendly. You see, they will tell you that, oh, we are green conscious, we are green this, we are green that. So that way, it can give organization a hedge over the other organization. And also ensuring that management are committed to all the environmental issues that have been identified. Also, to ensure that it reduces, assist in cost saving, which we've talked about earlier. Environmental wise, reduce raw materials input and waste output, increase environmental protection and minimizing its impact. Also, we can see another benefit, which is improve corporate environmental performance and also complying with requirement of environmental legislation. So this is not all, but just to mention a few, these are what we call the benefits of environmental management system to both organization as a whole, to its management, and also to the environment at large. If we are environmentally conscious, we don't keep going out there, we can actually, for instance, when it comes to the issue of, let's say, the use of timbers, or using of plant products in producing some things. If those things are things that we can refurbish, that can be reused, that's why you see when it comes to environmental wise, we always talk about the word the 3 R's, which is the 3 R's we call reduce, reuse, and repurpose. So having all these things in place reduces the raw materials inputs, because what we've used previously can be diverted back into fresh implementation or to fresh use to produce another product. That's why if you notice some plastic these days, you will see like three arrows forming like a triangle, showing that a recycling process from production you use, then you can reuse it before, or that particular product can be plastic can be repurposed. So that's just all about that for the first aspect of the ISO 14001. So I don't know if you have any question before we move to the second this thing we have. So just give me a minute. Just give me a minute to share my screen. I hope you are still with me and I'm not just talking to myself. So just give me a minute to share my screen for. Hello, is someone say something?
No, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. So just give me a minute to share my screen for the second aspect of the management system. So we are moving to section 2 of the this training slide. So it's coming up right away. Coming up right away. So I hope my screen is visible now. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, we
Yeah, so
can.
this is the we are done with this section one of, so we are what we'll be able to look at during the section one, we'll be able to familiarize ourselves with what ISO is all about. Who are they? What do they do? And we have been able also to see what ISO 14001 is all about. Yeah, the benefits to the organization. And we've also talked about what we call the ability of us of organization integrating two or more management systems together, which is we can now later refer to as what we call integrated management system. And also, we've also been able to see what are the different basic principles of ISO standard. So with this, in this section, we are going to look at environmental management system requirement. I know you remember this particular page from my previous slide when we started, where I spoke about that generally the management system consists of what we call clauses 4 to 10. Actually, that is the implementable, those are the aspect of the standard that is implementable that we can implement, clause 4 to 10. Although we have 1 and 3, but those ones are just references talking about this and that. But those ones that we always focus on is clause 4 to 10. And I've talked about the context of the organization, the leadership, planning, support, and operations, performance, and improvement. So this aspect and in this section, this is where we are going to break all these clauses that I've giving you the overview the other time. This is where we're going to break it down into what we call pieces. So, but before we go into that, let's look at what we call process approach. So, in implementing management system, that's what we call the process approach, which is the management system process approach in itself. We call it the PDCA cycle. PDCA. That is the PDCA cycle, and we can see, right, as you can see on my screen, which is the P stand for plan, the D stand for do, the C stand for check, and while the A stand for act. Now, before an organization, you can't just wake up one day and just say, let's implement ISO 40001. No. There is one thing first. The organization have to plan. And in planning, there are different things that we are going to do during our planning phase. In our planning phase, we are going to identify, understand as an organization, what do we do? How do we negatively impact? How do we impact? Don't let me keep using the word negative, but let me just say, how do we impact the environment? We have to identify that, whether positive or negative. We have to, that's understanding our context. Then we'll go about, okay, we've identified, okay, these ones are the issues, these are our strengths when it comes to environmental issues, these are our weaknesses, okay, this is opportunity, and these are threats. We have to plan and identify all those things. Then after we've done all those things, planning, identifying, then we go to the do aspect, which is now in actually implementing all what we've planned. After we've done the implementation, that means you now see the do is the operational aspect. After we are not done with the operation, we now go to what we call the C, which is the check. Initially, if you remember in the first slide, we had me mentioning talked about measurement, talk about measurement this, measurement that. So the same thing, Yeah, now, after we are not done with the implementation, actually, which is putting applications in place, those that we talked about, we will now check it. Okay, we've done what we need to do. The requirement of the standard says this. The requirement of the standard says that. The requirement of the standard says that and that. So everything, we will now check it. And how do we check? That is where we talk about that one. That's clause 9, where we do measurements. We analyze, ensuring that, okay, the data, what are we having? What is the data we're having? Is our risk assessment in the right place? Have we done the right thing? Have we mitigated the necessary thing we need to mitigate? Have we put the necessary controls in place? That is we checking, ensuring that everything is in order. So after we are not done checking, maybe we now notice that, oh, we've deviated from the initial plan. Oh, we've omitted one particular step. We didn't implement this particular thing. And it's in the plan. It's part of the requirement. We've checked all those things. We now take all those things, those deviations, those omissions, we now act on them by ensuring that we rectify any deviation or implementing any oversight. That is now what we call the A, the acting. So with that, let's just dive right into the next thing we have, which is what is process. So a process can be defined as being a logical group of interrelated tasks. Now, let me go back to what is here. You can see this chart, right? You can see from planning, we do, we check, then we move to act. So you can see that there is a relationship within them. That is an interaction. They are communicating together. Anyone is not in silos. So that is what process R is talking about. So a logical group of interrelated tasks are formed to reach a defined objective. Our objective is to ensure that we have the framework 14001 in place to help us manage our environmental issues, to ensure that we, as an organization, we are environmental conscious, and that we achieve what it is that, as an organization, our environmental responsibility. So process is now all these logical or interrelated tasks that needs to be performed, that we need to carry out, that we need to conduct to achieve these set down goals. A process is a sequence of structured and measured activities designed to create a product or service for a specific market or particular client. So process can be defined as being a logical group of interrelated tasks performed to define, talking about the same thing. So operational control ensure that activities associated with significant environmental aspects are in line with the organization environmental policies, objectives, and targets. So now, when we now talk about operational controls, we now ensuring that whatever activities it is that we are conducting, we are carrying out, whatever tasks that we need to have in place should be in relation or in compliance with the organization's environmental policies and objective. You will see as we go on, we're talking about, it's not that whatever we want to identify should always be in relationship to the organization's expected goal. So the international standard adopts the process model PD that is planned as called that, and I've explained that, which is the PDCA circle. The circle that I showed you previously illustrate how management systems uses and inputs the requirement and expectations of stakeholders and how it produces. So what this one is just talking about is just the PDCA circle, the way I explained that from plan to do to check and to act. So you can see that input from one end, from one point, is being given to another, to another. So that's how it goes in a circle. So now, if we plan how to have our management systems in place, that is 40001, to ensure that we manage our environmental aspects as an organization. We've done what we need to do, we've conducted the check, and we've acted on whatever issues that we might have identified. It's also talking about, after that, we don't just go to bed and rest and say, oh, we are done. No, 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 no. We still have to have plan in place also to ensure that this process we have in place, we ensure that it is continuous, that it's not that a one-time thing, or we do it this year and next year is even too far. Let's say in 6 months' time, we've forgotten about it. So that's what our process is talking about. I've already explained this, which is plan, do, check, and act. Establish the policies, the objective, processes, and the procedure related to environmental management and the improvement of environmental practice to provide results in line with policies and objectives of the organization. So everything we are doing, everything we do, every planning to be in line with the objective of the organization. Do, which is implementing those things we have in place, those policies, those processes that we plan, we ensure that we implement them, and we check, that's monitoring and reviewing of what we have in place. And we have the act, which is ensuring that whatever deviation or omission that we've identified during our check process, that we act on them by ensuring that we put in those things, we call them corrective actions or preventive actions, to ensure that, okay, our process is in order. So you can see the chart I have on my screen presently, which is the structure of ISO 40001 standards. Now, we've talked about the plan, do, check, act. And you can remember talking about when we started the first page, where I talked about the clauses, clause 4 to 10, where I talked about clause 4 is understanding the context of the organization, clause 5 talking about leadership, clause 6 talking about planning, 7 talking about support, 8 which is operation, and 9 which is performance and evaluation, and we have 10 which is improvement. You can now see how it has been segregated to fit under the BDCA circle. We can see from clause 4 to clause 7 is under plan, which is context of the organization, leadership, planning, and support. All those ones are under planning, where we have the do, where we conduct the operation. That is the aspect whereby whatever, everything in we've identified in our clause 4, clause 5, clause 6, clause 7, that we put them into practice, ensuring that we integrate them into our processes. We internalize whatever it is that we are doing, that we've planned, we've put in place. We internalize it. That is clause 8. And also clause 9, which is under check. Like I said, clause 9 talks about performance and evaluation. That is where we have our measurement. That is where we have our internal audit and other things. And we have the clause 9, we have clause 10, which is improvement, that falls under the what? The act aspect of the implementation. So now, I promise you that we are going to dive deeper into the whole clauses I've been hearing about the other time, 6 months, clause 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, this is now just time for us to now dive into it. We have clause 4 that speaks to context of the organization. Clause 5 that speaks to leadership. Clause 6 that speaks to planning. Clause 7 that talks about support. Clause 8, operation. clause 9, performance evaluation, and clause 10 that talks about improvement. Yes. So now, clause 4, context of the organization. And under clause 4, we now have 4 subclauses. So now, as an organization, before we do the implementation, we need to now determine, okay, what is it that we do as an organization? That is understanding our context. What do we do? With who do we do it? How do we do it? It is with this understanding that we will know the necessary things that we need to have in place. When it comes to environmental wise, as an organization, what is it that we do? With who? What is our process? And how does this process impact the environment? So cluster point one speaks to understanding the context and the organization and its context. So in doing this, we are going to identify what is our internal and our external issues. And how do we do this? There are diverse ways whereby organization determines what their internal and their external issues are. You can use SWOT analysis or you can use PES2 analysis. So, but majorly the organization use what we call the SWOT analysis, which is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. The strength is, we as an organization, what is our strength when it comes to environmental aspect? What is our weakness when it comes to environmental aspects? What are the opportunities that we can identify from this our weaknesses as an organization? And what are the threats that we can face or that we have been facing, that we are facing rather as an organization? So we've got a lot of questions to ask ourselves when we are doing SWOT analysis. For instance, when it comes to strength, we ask ourselves, do we as an organization, do we bring experience to the business or to the industry, to the manufacturing industry or whatever industry we are? Do we bring experience to the place? Are we, okay, we ask ourselves also, when it comes to incidents, what is the rate of our incidents? Is our incidence low as an organization? When it comes to environmental aspect also, environmental issues, do we have strong leadership and participation? Our management, are they environmentally aware? Those are the questions we need to ask. So not just to draw much on that. The next thing, 4.2 talks about understanding the needs and expectation of workers and other interested parties. So now, we are still talking about the context of the organization. What is the need, or what are the needs of our interested parties? What do they expect from us? And how can we meet these expectations? Regulatory body, they require from us that we must be in compliance with the requirement of this standard when it comes to environmental management system. How can we meet this need? Is by implementing ISO 14001. Let's look at our employees. What is their expectation? What do they need from us? Our employees ensure that they need that, okay, me working in your, as a person working in your organization, that I keep growing, access to training. And that's one of the requirements of this standard. By the time we implement this standard, that awareness, training of employees to ensure that they have the necessary knowledge when it comes to management, environmental management systems. So 4.3 speaks to determining the scope of the management system. If you remember, in my first slide, I spoke about environmental management system can be implemented across different levels of the business or organization. So that's what this thing is talking about. We want to implement. What is the scope? Are we planning to implement only for to cover the headquarter, or as an organization we have branches? Are we including our branches, or we are international organization that have branches in various countries? Are we facing Nigeria only, or we are including other branches in other countries in the implementation? That is what determining the scope is. Or is it our scope? Are we facing a particular aspect of the business or the entire business in itself? Those are the things we have to consider under clause 4. And the next thing, which is clause 4.4, under clause 4, is the management EMS, which is environmental management system. This is the aspect whereby we talk about the interaction of all the processes. How do they interact? That is where we talk about, we bring in the PDCA circle here, whereby from clause 4 to clause 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 and to 10, there is no isolation. Everything is in conjunction. They interacted together. They are interacting together. So that is what understanding the context of the organization is talking about. So clause 4, which speaks to context of the organization. In implementing this particular standard, we have to understand what is it that we are doing. What is our mission? What is our vision as an organization? What are the various departments that we are having? What are our internal and external issues? Who are our interested parties? What is their expectation? And we decided to implement. What is the scope? To what extent? What area of the business are we covering with our implementation? And also we consider how the management systems interacted together. So that is the whole purview of what clause 4 is all about, which is context of the organization. So we have the next clause, which is clause 5, that speaks to leadership. Now, you and I, you agree with me that there is nothing in this world that can work without leadership commitment. If there is no, everybody just keep doing whatever they like. From the leadership of the organization, there is no way the implementation of any management system can be successful. Because in organizations, there are a lot of bureaucracies, a lot of politics. So some people are like, if they don't know that, if until they see that management is committed in something, that's when you see them gear up and they are ready to work. But outside that, you will see them. If someone tell them to do something, they tell you that, is it my, how is that my work, how is that in my work purview? That it's not my responsibility to do. But with leadership and the commitment of leadership, which is required for the successful implementation of ISO 14001 to be successful. And it is also expected that it is the management that will develop what the organization environmental management system policy will be. When it comes to resources, it is the management that will make all those one possible. Because for the implementation, you need resources, both monetary wise and manpower wise. And all these things can only be made available, can only be made possible if the management of the organization is committed to the implementation, to ensuring that they as a person, the organization is environmentally conscious. So we have clause 5.2 that speaks to environmental management system policy. Now, this policy is an high-level commitment statement that it's expected that every organization needs to have in place when it comes to the management system. And it must be documented. You know, for instance, now, Nigeria, we have our pledge that says, I pledge to Nigeria, my country, so, and so. This is an high-level commitment as a citizen of the nation. You are pledging it that, oh, I'm pledging to be this and this. So also, when it comes to ISO 14001, organizations management, they need to have this pledge developed that organization XYZ, we are committing to ensuring that our product and services is environmentally friendly and ensuring that we reduce the toxicity level of whatever effluent or emission that we are releasing to the environment, or whatever the byproduct that is being released to the environment. We ensure that we reduce first, we reduce also, aside reducing, also ensure that even the toxicity level also is at minimum. So this is the responsibility of the management also to do. Because if you go and ask me now, I that for instance, I'm the cleaner in the organization, and we say we want to do environmental management system implementation, and you come and tell me that okay, develop our environmental management system and policy statements. I'll be like, what's that? I don't even have idea of what it's all about. Or if it's coming from me, someone, let's assume I even managed to develop something. Someone that is maybe the team leader now saying, how will I comply with something that someone below me developed? No. So that is why it is the responsibility of the management to ensure that these things are put in place. 5.3 speaks to roles, responsibility, and authorities. It is also the responsibility of management, the leadership of the organization, to ensure that they pick the necessary people, competent people that are capable of serving in one role or the other. And there are different roles when it comes to the implementation of this particular requirement and standard. There must be people we call the EMS champions. We must have the EMS manager. We must have the EMS internal auditor. We must have diverse roles that must exist. So it is the responsibility of management to ensure that they appoint the necessary and competent individual to serve in these roles. So all these people, all these roles, they have, because there are some people that will do the implementation, put the necessary policies, the necessary procedures, the necessary things that are needed, identify, ensure that they conduct the risk assessment, identify whatever the risk the environmental issue is to the organization, identify all these things, document everything. There should be some some group of people also that will conduct what we call internal audit. that you ensure that, oh, this is what we plan. Where are we? We plan to do awareness 3 times in a week. So far, how many have we done? It's part of the requirement that we have this identify our internal and external issues. Have we identified them? And have we addressed them under our risk assessment, which we'll talk later on? So, under leadership, we have 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3, which 5.1 speaks to the leadership and its commitments. How committed is the leadership of the organization? 5.2 speaks to an high-level policy statement that showcase the commitment of the organization and its leadership to ensuring that they are environmentally conscious and they implement the necessary measure to reduce their environmental impacts. And we have clause 5.3 that speaks to the roles and responsibility that are needed for the successful implementation of the management system. So we have clause 6, which is planning. So what do we now do in clause 6? You see, actions to address risk and opportunity. EMS objectives and planning to achieve them. That's clause 6.2. So in clause 6, this is where we now identify our objective when it comes to environmental management system. And note, whatever objective we are developing should follow what we call the SMART rule. It must be specific, and it must be measurable. And it must be something that is achievable. How? It must be realistic. And T, it must be time bound. You don't go and develop an objective whereby it's like it doesn't even have a timeline. We must be able to determine that, okay, this is our EMS objective, which is ensuring that by this also time of the year, our waste outputs, the waste we release into the environment, is reduced by this also amount. The toxicity level is reduced by this also amount. Our negative impact on the environment is reduced by this also amount. That this, by this also time of the year, that we ensure that this also number of people in our of our staff member have been well trained. By this also time of the year, we want to ensure that the product and services we are rendering has attained this level when it comes to environmental commitment. So this is where we do that. Under clause 6, we identify our objective and we plan how we want to achieve them. There must be timeline, like I said, whatever objective it is. Imagine, I'm earning, for instance, let's assume I'm earning 10,000 naira. And I'm setting a goal that, okay, by the end of year 2024, I want to have 2 billion naira. No, that's not a realistic goal. With an income of 10,000 naira. So our goal when it comes to environmental must be specific, must be measurable. It is something that should be measurable. We should be able to quantify that, okay, this is the level we have. For instance, I should not say I'm setting a goal that, okay, I know one day I will finish this training. No, it's not that. That's not something that is measurable. One day, when is that one day? The time has been given that this training should hold between this also time and this also time. And it should be something that is achievable. Because if you have something that's measurable, then technically it should be achievable. So all those things, we have to have them in place. So let's move to, my time is not by my side anymore. So let's move to the next area, which is clause 7, which speaks to support. So before I even proceed, talking about risk here, 6.1, as an organization, every management system, let me tell you something, it always risk-based. What we have to identify, whatever risk it is that we as an organization we are posing to the environment, and possible risk that we can face from the environment, and determine what will be the impact on us, what will be the impact on the environment, what is the likelihood of those risks happening, and what is the likelihood of it not happening. We should also determine that, which we have, and from there we determine our risk score, which is our risk score is always the simplest and the most common way is always the impact times the likelihood. What is the likelihood of that risk happening, and what will be the impact if it occurs? And from there, we determine, is it low, is it high, is it medium? And if we are a low risk taker as an organization, which is expected, we ensure that we put the necessary controls in place to reduce the impact. So clause 7 speaks to support. So for the successful implementation of management system, 7.1 speaks to resources. We need resources, time, we need people, we need money. So how do we get all those things? That's what the management is there for. We have to ensure that the necessary resources are in place. We have 7.2 that speaks to competence, ensuring that whoever that it is that is serving in one role or the other within the management system is competent enough. They are well informed. They know what they are doing. They know what it is that is expected of them. Competency. Whoever is going to serve as the lead implementer should be competent enough to do that. Whosoever is going to serve as the lead auditor should be competent enough to do that. They should be trained. Awareness. Everybody within the organization must be aware of what it is that the organization is doing. We don't say we want to do environmental implementation now, and it's only the management that is aware. The employees are not aware. No, everybody must be aware. 7.4, which speaks to communication. After we conduct awareness, we should ensure that there is effective and appropriate channels for communication, reporting. When there is an issue, how do we report? Also, communicating, ensuring that you are reminding, there's a way you are reminding the employees about their commitment when it comes to, and what they need to do to ensure that the environmental conscious, ensure that, okay, when you are done eating anything, you don't just throw it anywhere. Ensure that you throw it in the trash bin. Ensure that, okay, we have a recycling bin, we have a different bins, waste bin. One is for recyclable materials, while the other one is for non-recyclable material. So all those things, and we have a plus 7.5 that speaks to documentation, documented information. There should be a formalized way whereby every processes within the organization should follow. If the organization should decide that our font is Century Gothi and our size is 10, our header is 15, there should be a formal way of documenting all these things. It's not that you have some document or some policies or procedure that is Time New Roman, another one is Calibri, another one is Century Gothic, another one is Lacto, and different sizes. No, it shouldn't be like that. Everything should be formalized, and it should be documented that this is how we are going to do all our documentation. You should follow this particular format. So under clause 7, we have resources, competence, awareness, communication, and documentation. Clause 8, we've talked so much about it, which is operation. That is where we ensure that everything that has been done so far, we internalize them, we put them in place, and when it comes to reporting of issues within the management system, that is being done. So clause 9, which speaks to performance evaluation, we've spoken about this a lot also, which is at this point, this is where we do our monitoring, measurement, analysis, and performance evaluation. Now, we've implemented the management system. Good. Everything we've planned, we now need to measure it to ensure that are we meeting the target, our objective. In clause 6, we now measure it. We said we are going to conduct awareness 2 times a year. How many have we done so far? We said by second quarter we are going to achieve this. Have we been able to achieve it? So clause 9.2 speaks to internal audit, and clause 9.3 speaks to management review, which is management review is when after the internal audit where we give feedback to the management to tell them, okay, this is where we are. These are the minor non-conformity and major non-conformity that has been identified, and these are the things we propose to put in place, the controls we put in place. Okay, our also communicating risk, ensuring that you discuss everything in the management system with them, the internal and external issues, ensure we discuss with the management, the interested parties, ensure you discuss all those things with the management during the internal management review meeting. And all this process is always expected to be documented. So internal audit technically is a mix of measuring and monitoring what we've put in place. So, and audit is always evidence-based to determine where we are as an organization. So it is expected that before we go for our certification audits, we conduct internal audit of the process that we already have in place. So clause 9 that speaks to performance evaluation gives us we have 4.1 and 9.1, 9.2, and 9.3 under that clause, which is we're now moving to clause 10, which is the final clause in the management system, especially the one we are also considering, which is 14001, which is continuous improvement. Like I said, after the audit, all the issues that have been identified, we call them non-conformities. Whatever we will not conform with the requirement of the standard, that will not meet our laid down objectives and plans. All those things that have been identified, this is where we now work on them. We now put, okay, these are what we need to put in place. We have them in place. So under this, we have the we have always have what we call continuous catalog and then continuous improvement. So that's what we call major, minor, and observation, and also we call OFI. That is opportunities for improvement. So under this clause 10, this is where we improve on the management system we have in place. So, and then if you see the next one, which is clause 10.2, which is continuous improvement. It is continuous. We keep growing in the management system and standard. So that's all about that, about ISO 14001. In short, you'll be able to look at the old standard and the requirements of the standard and what is expected of organization when it comes to the implementation. We've looked at clause 4 to 10. 4 talks about context of the organization. 5 speaks to leadership. 6 speaks to planning. 8 speaks to operation. 7 support. 9 speaks to improvement. That is a measurement and evaluation. While clause 10 speaks to improvements of the particular system. So thank you for your time. I'm much appreciated to be here. Thank you. So I'm handing over to Madam Mercy. Thank you for your time. If you have any question, I'll see you.
All right. I don't know if anyone, thank you so much, first and foremost, in Yolua. That was a beautiful one. I don't know if we have any question to ask. Any question? Okay, people are appreciating you here. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you also. Thank you for your time. So if you have any questions, I'm still here, but the answers are no.
Okay. I feel there is no question at the moment. Okay, so thank you once again for such a wonderful session with you. Okay,
Yeah, thank
so
you, ma'am.
please,
All right,
before
ma'am.
we all right. So before we go on a short break, I just want to make a few announcements for the purpose of those who didn't join us on the call earlier, right? So most of you have been attending class, but you've not been doing your assessment. Your assessment is a yardstick for you to get your certificate. So please do well to do all assessments, all of them. You have to get like 60% before you can graduate and get your certificate on this course. Okay, so I will implore you to do so. And for those of you who are yet to make your registration fee, please do well to pay up as well. Thank you for that. So we will be going a 30 minutes break, and when we return, we will be taking business analysis. That's talking about making a business and financial case with Trello. It's going to be a practical session. All right. So I will implore every one of us to be back on the call and on time. All right. So we'll be back at exactly 1:30. So you can go for your short break now, stretch your leg and take some cups of drink and then come back. All right? Thank you and enjoy your break.